Hey, hi everyone. I'm going to do a record review. This is going to be a review of an album by the group Brightsilver. I did a review of their first album, Strikes It Rich. This album is different in some ways, and I'm going to give my review on it. So let's get going. The first song, North Dream Farm Road, I like the instrumentation on it. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Keller Williams in a different way. The one criticism I have is the vocals seem a little tiny bit too modern sounding for this song. They could work better in another song, but for my taste, I might have wanted something a little more like John Dawson from New Riders of the Purple Sage in vocals, but I do like the overall song. And then the second song is Stay in the Circle. Overall, I prefer this type of song as opposed to some other stuff that has been released around this time. But I will say it seemed a little too long in the beginning before the soloing, and I loved the soloing. The vocals were more amenable to this song, so I didn't mind the slightly modern edge tinge. And this is definitely not a bad song, but it did seem like it could be shortened somewhat. I wouldn't have minded if the whole song had guitar soloing in it. That would have been great. Now, the next song is Whisper in the Night. The first part I thought would be better done by Jimmy Buffett. It seemed to be an okay but not great song, and I would have loved hearing Jimmy Buffett sing it. But then, when the first solo came in, it reminded me of the Eddie Harris album, Is It In?, which threw me for a loop in a good way. Wow, they're getting funky and jazzy. And then the vocals and the regular song came on again, but I was more into it by that point. And then the solo at the last part of the song was like the group The String Cheese Incident, and it was great. So I do prefer the instrumental jamming parts of the song better than the regular singing parts, but this does get a pass for being alright. And then Century Window. At first it seemed like a copycat rendition of a song from the first album, Strikes It Rich, but as it continued I liked the soloing and the vocals grew on me, so I eventually liked this song. And then Easy Out. The best thing I can say about it is it sounds like an outtake from the Souther Hillman and Fury band, but otherwise I would say it doesn't really spark my interest. At least the other songs had something that elevated them somewhat. This song was an elevator ride down. And then the song Just Like Bob Dylan's Blues. This is fantastic. I love the song, and I love the way it's played, and I love the vocals, and I love the song. Clear enough, I love it. And then Can You Hear Me? I love it. I think it's a totally groovy tune, and I dig it. And it's the most original song on this album outside of the last song. And I think it's really awesome. So there. And then Masterpiece. This is a great song. It sounds like the group The Band, and the lyrics are Dylan-esque in a great way. This is a truly, really good song, and I give it several thumbs up. And then the song Break My Heart. This song doesn't do it for me. It sounds like a later day Roger McGuinn song, but it doesn't sound like a great one. It feels like whoever wrote it was trying too hard for that vibe, which should come more naturally. And then the last song, White Lines Hypnotize. It's a pretty good song and reminds me of something John Dawson from New Riders of the Purple Sage would write. It's really a great tune. It's more of a tune to relax to than to drive to, even though the song is about driving. But yeah, it's a cool one. So yeah, my overall thoughts are I prefer the first album overall, Strikes It Rich, to this one. But what I will say is that there are some good songs on it, and I do think that just like with other bands, there's going to be points where maybe people might like some stuff over other stuff, but in a group's gradual progression, there's going to be times when there's going to be great stuff, and there's going to be some stuff that isn't as good as the really great stuff, but it's still decent. So yeah, this is a pretty decent album. I would say it's worth getting for the good songs. But if you really want a great album, I would say I prefer their first album. But I don't want you to ignore the good stuff on this album. It's still pretty good. But not as good as the first, but still pretty good. That's my review. Cheers, everyone.